Hey everybody, this is me, Herbert Jones, with a new video. Thoughts on the Hamas attacks in Israel. Now, if you guys have been checking out the news, apparently Israel has been in the southern border of Israel. Hamas has launched rockets into the country, and soldiers actually started, or I don't say, I guess you can call them soldiers. I don't know what you would call them, but men, men affiliated with Hamas, has marched into, I think it's Gaza. Please forgive me if I get this information wrong, but the gist of it is, Israel has been invaded um, by a militant force, and I've recently read about what's I just recently read what's been going on. Um, I guess as of today, in terms of the violence that's been going on, as I was reading through this, I've seen some headlines. I've seen some headlines about what kind of response is there going to be, and I figured I'd just share my thoughts because this is kind of telling. First off, this is not our fight, and it upsets me to think that former former Vice President Joe Biden is going to say that we will lend we're going to lend support to Israel during this matter. No, this is not our fight. We should not get in. We shouldn't be involved in Ukraine. We definitely don't need to be involved in this mess. All right. This is nothing that this is really how does this concern us? Someone may want to say that we have a there's some national interest. What interest is there? I can see if we were getting Galil's, at Jericho's, at a cheaper price here in the U.S. But really, how is any of our business? And I actually don't. And the part that, and I'm actually happy. I'm happy Kevin McCarthy was kicked out. I hope Jim Jordan, if he is chosen to be Speaker of the House, I hope he works to keep us out of this mess. Because if memory serves me right, he was vocal about us not getting involved in Ukraine, and we definitely we do not need to get involved in this. All right, so that's the first thing. This is not our fight. All right. Second thing, I was reading about the violence that was going on, how in around the southern portion. There's actually a photo of Hamas. I just call them soldiers. Hamas soldiers taking pictures around an Israeli tank. Now, someone in the comment section of the article I was reading, which I'll leave a link. I'm gonna leave some links in the description box. What is it? Where's the Iron Dome? Where's this Iron Dome we've always heard about that Israel has? How is it that somewhere around 2,500 rockets can be launched into this country, and they're not, and the supposed Iron Dome was not effective? So what is it, an Iron Dome or is it an Iron Net? Is it an Iron Collar? What is it, Iron Shackle? What do you call it? How is is this dome? Was this dome supposed to be able to keep rockets from getting into the country? Third thing, there were reports of people being kidnapped out of their homes. I took this opportunity to look up what are Israeli gun laws, because I remember a while back I checked it out and it said that you have to have you have to have a permit to get a permit to own a firearm. Now this really puzzles me, because if you look throughout I'm going back to the Old Testament. If this I don't know what they're following over there, but there are plenty of examples even in the Old Testament about why the public needs to be armed. If you need judges for one, actually, you know what? Genesis has already covered that. But let's go to Judges. How the Israelites were constantly invaded, and they were subjugated. They were enslaved, and they had to fight, and at some point they had to fight back. If you can look at I think it's 2 Samuel, if I'm not mistaken, 2 Samuel, when there were no blacksmiths. When the Israelites were conquered by the Philistines, there were no blacksmiths. So you had to actually take, if you were a farmer, you had to take your farming implements to a Philistine blacksmith to get them sharpened, get them maintained. It was very expensive, and that was to ensure that they cannot fight back. Let's look at the Book of Nehemiah. In order to rebuild the wall that guarded their country, it took them 52 days to rebuild it. But there was concern that the elders had a concern about any attacks from outsiders. So there were sentries posted in certain parts of the wall, and everyone who worked had a weapon. You carried your load in one hand and had your weapon in another. And it was even said that, I think if they said they went to go get water, or if they went to go, or rest, or they were resting, they had a sword with them. So there are plenty of examples from just the Old Testament as to why it is important for the public to be armed. In Israel, so in order to get, you have to get you have to meet certain criteria to get a firearm. And by getting a firearm, the only thing, if you're not a member of the IDF, see, if you're a member of the IDF, you can get a license at 18. If you did national service, you can get one at 21. If you didn't do any of those things, you can't get a firearm in that country until you're 27. And I think that's been the law since, I think it was 1949. And if you get a firearm, the only thing you can get is a pistol and 50 rounds. What the fuck? A pistol, that's it. That's all they can get. Any of those pictures you ever see of Israelis and Israelis and normal clothing, they're members. They're more likely members of the IDF. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because you have people being kidnapped out of their homes during this attack. Men, women, and children. People were getting shot at. The mayor of certain towns. I forget the names of the town. But like I said, I'm gonna leave an article link in the description box, telling people they basically stay in their homes. Nothing about fighting back. Nothing about defending yourself. If you only have 50, you're only able to have 50 rounds and a pistol. That is insane. That is crazy. Because of course the country doesn't have anything like what we have here in the United States. They don't have our Constitution. Definitely don't have our Second Amendment. Even in the states, even in states like California, New Jersey, Maryland, New Hampshire. No, not New Hampshire. No, they're definitely not on this list. Connecticut, Massachusetts. Even those places, you're able to have substantially more than 50 rounds. Though the critters, though the grabbers over in those areas they're still trying to attack the Second Amendment. Even still, you're only able to have a pistol and 50 rounds. With the history, with that nation's history, that is crazy. And if you're supposedly surrounded by your enemies, like we're always being led to believe, why is it that your public are only able to have 50 rounds and one pistol? And you can't even, and you can only carry it if it's pertaining to your job, pertaining to your doing business, whether you work, I guess handling money, or you're in pest control. It's crazy. So that's the thing. That's my third thing. They have Israeli gun control is something else, and I think that's what it would allow hundreds of men to be able to. Apparently, they walked an hour. They would walk for an hour until they got to the southern part of Israel, and then started raising hell. Which again, to me, this always lends credence to the fact that that it's important to be armed at all times, however which way you can be. And when people talk about someone they keep guns in their cars. Let's say guys have they have a loadout pack in the trunk of their car. I ain't never been one to look down on people like that. For one, I have something similar. I have something similar to that. It's I'll put it like this. It's not as nice. It's not as nice as the other things I've seen. Guys have, they have a rifle. They have a plate carrier. They'll have several magazines, stuff like that. I don't have anything that sophisticated, but I will say that the stuff that I've seen. Hey, listen, if you think that something could happen while you're out and about, do all you can to protect yourself. Do all you can to make sure you have the right gear. and that you train with it, and that you be ready at a moment's notice. That's basically what the Minuteman philosophy is all about. So, and another thing, if you're surrounded by your enemies, why would you not notice? Why would you not look towards current examples like Ukraine? All right, look what happens. Like, look what happened to Ukraine starting just over a year ago. And apparently, a country like Israel, who is supposed to be, who's supposed to be always in constant threat, they didn't look at what's going on in Israel and think that maybe we need to change things up in our own country to prepare ourselves, to prepare our people for whatever, for if should they ever find themselves having to fight on their own soil. They've had suicide bombers, or attacking the country before, or they had guys try to go in and kill, go into a school, try to kill a bunch of kids. I mean, thankfully, there have been teachers there who'll be able to protect the kids. They probably were members of the IDF at some point. But this is nuts. Again, we can all you gotta do is look at what happened in Ukraine. And that's another country. They got invaded by Russia back in the 30s. Or not invaded, but they were starved out. They were starved out by the Soviet Union in the 30s. You would think that after that, again, I even brought it up in a video I did last year. How is it that your country doesn't have arms for its people, given its history? It is nuts. But hey, we'll see how this thing carries out. Again, going back to my first point, we do not need to get involved in this. We got too much mess going on our southern border to have to be sending money and resources and, God forbid, men over to Israel. We should be doing it in Israel. We shouldn't be doing it in Ukraine. I hope I wanted the people in Ukraine. I wanted them to be able to defend themselves as best they can. And that's about as much support as I was willing to lend to them. Same as with Israel. But I do not think we should be sending any of our resources, let alone any men over to that country to fight their fight. That's their fight. All right, that's Ukraine's fight. That's Israel's fight. We got our own crap going on in our own country, and it needs to be taken care of. But please tell me what you guys think. Have you heard any other news about what's going on in Israel? Please share your thoughts. Leave a comment in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. I want to give a shout out to Mitch, who he spotted me out. He spotted me on my way to a gun store. He recognized me. He's been a fan of my channel. He saw me. I was walking towards the front door, and he said, "You didn't put out any videos yet?" And and it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool to meet a fan every now and then. Once in a blue moon, I meet someone who actually watched my videos, and it is humbling to know that there are people who care to watch my channel. Small as it is, it does feel good to know that there are people who check it out. But yeah, leave a comment in the comment section, like, share, and subscribe. If you want to help out with the channel, go to my YouTube homepage, look for the PayPal link and the Cash App link. All donation amounts are appreciated. If you got any gripes, complaints, if you don't like what I have to say about the situation, hey, leave a comment in the comment section or send me a private message, and I'll see what I can do about it. But that's my video, just my thoughts on the Hamas attack on Israel. I'm Edward Jones. You guys take care, be safe, stay strapped, and God bless.